Okay, this is just a quick video on like some level design flaws that Ghost Forest has, and these happen pretty much throughout the entirety of Ghost Forest. Now this is the first level of Ghost Forest. Immediately the spawn point is right next to the left wall. I think this is personally quite sloppy. Usually I put a spawn point 4 tiles away or more, but never less, because I don't want it to feel like Tux is tucked away in the corner. Because if you make the spawn point in a more consistent more visually consistent location, the player immediately upon spawning into the level knows where Tux is going to be locally, like in their eyesight. It's going to be a certain part of the screen, so it's just about training muscle memory for players. So that's why I never like to have spawn points right next to the left hand side of the wall. So immediately that's just an issue. Second issue is there are these scullihobs and they just fall down and kill themselves within a few seconds. Sometimes that guy will kill himself. Scullihobs have RNG. Sometimes they'll die, sometimes they won't, but most times both of them will die in this spike pit. That's really lazy. Having enemies that just kill themselves, I personally think is quite lazy, and it shouldn't be a thing. So yeah. What else? What else is there? This isn't even showing up properly. What the heck? What is happening? What the fuck? Okay. Just don't want to work? That's nice. This game is so fucking stupid. There we go. Oh, so I can't do that. Okay then. So yeah, anyway, back to the video. So, immediately upon coming into the level, there's coins here that need to be... Jesus Christ, why the sound so loud? There's coins here that need to be picked up immediately, with a fire flower, so not an ice flower. Now this level actually gives you an ice flower, but it's it's all the way over here, so it's not at the beginning of the stage, it's all the way over here, which is another flaw. Usually you'd give power-ups directly at the beginning. So the level gives you ice flowers, but there's a requirement that needs a fire flower, and that's an issue. That cannot be a thing. Even if there was a fire flower in this level, which I've checked, there isn't. Even if there was a fire flower in this stage, you can't get back up here because the terrain doesn't allow it. You can't jump up here with Tux. This is too tall. So that is just a huge issue. This is another issue with the level. Upon spawning in, you immediately have a hazard right here. Like, so the player could just like fall down and then immediately die. This isn't very good, because you're not really supposed to have hazards that are this low. Or, sorry, not this low, but this close to the player spawn. Having hazards like that close to this player spawn doesn't, like, it's not nice. It doesn't give the player any breathing room. It's not good. This is also an issue. So the level designer obviously intended the player to kind of see the hazard, but this isn't done properly. You can see the camera. The camera barely highlights the danger here. there's only a smidge of danger that the player can see. It's very hard to see, so they won't actually really know until it's too late that that is a spike pit. Now, I've already just listed like 5 issues within like the first 30 tiles of the stage. Like, that is atrocious. The next issue with this level should be quite apparent. This is a tiling issue. This, I don't know what this is, but it shouldn't be here. It should be this tile instead of this one. So that's obviously an error. Additionally, I think if I look on the forest tiles, there should be these tiles as well. So there should be corner tiles, but there weren't any corner tiles, I just fixed them. So immediately there's like tiling errors. Like, look at this. Look at that. Do you see that error there? Watch, and now it's fixed. So there's tiling errors immediately, which is just why. This is really lazy, and I'll show you why in a second. But having foreground over spikes, no, that's just not how you do it. I'll show you why right now. Did I just save the level? I did. Fuck. That's fine. Can I grow? Thank you. So, the reason why it's bad is this. Whoops, you probably didn't see it. It's quite not distinctive, but do you see that little pixel there of detail? Let me just zoom in. But there's this little pixel there that kind of shows up, and it's stuff like that that shouldn't happen. Also, Tux being behind grass, when in other parts of the level he's in front of the grass, that's like visually consistent. I just think it's better to keep graphics like that consistently in front of or behind Tux. So the way I handle this is I put these on a background solid tile that I put like -1 on the Z position, just so it's like behind the grass, but it's solid, so it still damages the player. That's how I do it, and that way you don't need to have any of this foreground garbage. That's just how I do it. Now, the decoration in the ground is very visually boring. The level designer only adds moss over here. It doesn't add any moss all the way over here. Like, why not? Why can't it add moss here? Why can't they add moss like here and here and here? Like, they only add moss like partly into the level, and then they only add rocks like a bit, and then they just forget to add rocks. It's very clear that this was rushed, because there's no consistency in the stage. You could try and argue, oh, the player's trying to make like microbiomes, or just like climates where it gets a bit rockier than normal, or a bit more mossier than normal or something, but that's not really the case, because this is hardly very mossy. Like, this doesn't really seem like a microclimate or a microbiome kind of idea. There's just nothing really going on, and this doesn't seem like a microclimate idea with the rocks. Like, there's only 2 of them, and they're not doing much. So there's not really a lot going on there, and it's just visually like unappealing. These dart traps are at way too high of a speed. I don't know why. Can I stop saying the level? I don't know why they put them at this high of a speed, but like, this is just so annoying to get past. Like that. And like, consider I'm good at the game. Like, Like, imagine if you're a new player and you're a beginner and you're trying to do that section. That's so like unnecessarily difficult. Like, I don't know why, but like they have to go back a bit and then they have to like time everything. It's just nasty. Just make it slower. Like, what the fuck? Second issue. There's a fire enemy here, and you're expected to come in the stage with a fire power-up. You haven't got an ice flower before this point, so you see this fire enemy and you can't even kill it. There's no intuition on, oh, there's a power-up that will help me kill this enemy. There is no intuition. The player doesn't know about ice enemies yet. So how on earth do they know that they can kill these people? Or these enemies, rather. The game gives you an ice flower all the way over here. So you have to backtrack to kill the fire enemy and then go through the spike trap again. It's like, what? Why? You just did it once and it was already awful the first time. Now you have to do it again. Disgusting. Just really, really clumsy design. Really stupid design. Quite brainless. I've never seen anything like this. Can we also talk about how the background for the stage is a bunch of trees. The trees are way too low. The background should be offset. What the heck? Why can't I change this? Did they remove the option for this, or am I just really stupid? Scroll speed, scroll offset. Oh no. I see what the designer did. I don't know why Serrano put 0.5, but that's 0.5 of a tile. Do you really think that's going to make any difference? This is an offset, not a parallax speed, not a scroll speed, it's an offset. So that means what that does is it changes the tiles, right, and it puts them up one tile, down one tile, to the left or right, however many tiles they want. Serrano just made it go up and to the right half of a tile. What on earth is that useful for? But this is what it's used for. If I put -200, it pushes it up. Obviously we need to fine-tune it a little bit. But point is, like, this is just way better visually. Obviously you need to tweak it a bit and see what values work, but like, the point is, you can see more of the trees, you can see the ground they're on, and this just looks better. Like, I don't know why he put the background so low, but it's stupid. Positives about this stage: the mix between underground and like overground is good. That's the only good thing. However, the bad thing is that every single goddamn level in Ghost Forest does this. There isn't a single Ghost Forest level that doesn't disobey this overground, underground motif. And that's very monotonous and boring. Secondly, my friend here doesn't know how to center enemies properly. He doesn't know about grid size features or grid snapping. So he's made no effort to center this stone crusher at all with its surroundings. If you center it, it just looks way better aesthetically. That's just fact. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. Some kind of ridge? I don't know. What is this? It doesn't make any sense. It looks bad. And it has no function. I don't know. It just makes this look really structurally weak. Like, if you think about gravity acting downwards, this is just going to fall off. This doesn't really make much sense. So, you got to think about, like, the terrain not only looking natural, but like making sense as well. Because the terrain just doesn't really make much sense here. I think this wall and giving you a sneak peek to another area, that's good. It encourages players to backtrack, that's good. We'll get on to why Serrano utterly failed that in a second. something I didn't actually talk about is a concept with like danger, and hazards. So when I make a level, I want to give the player some breathing room from time to time. So that would mean a platform like this. This is a platform without any hazards on it. Look at this. So immediately you have a hazard, and then this platform has a hazard on it. This is a hazard, and then this platform has a hazard on it. And then this platform has hazards across it. And then this platform has a hazard across it. And then these platforms have a hazard across them. And then you have a rest. Right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lengths of platforms without any rest. Like, and yes, you can, kill the bomb, throw the bomb off, and then you have a resting platform. But that's a lot of work for the player, and to go 7 platforms without any easy rest, without having to do literally anything, is very long, and that's poor design. When I make a level, I usually don't like having a hazardous platform followed by a hazardous drop, which is then followed by a hazardous resulting platform. If I'm going to have a hazardous platform here and then a hazardous drop, and then another platform, I'm going to make the other platform, like this, not hazardous. And even sometimes rewarding by putting coins or whatever. It just, to me, you can obviously break that rule sometimes, but only at the end of the stage, when you're trying to make things a little bit more difficult. That's called difficulty curving, which this level doesn't do. So there's no sense of difficulty in this stage. Or rather is, but there's no sense of difficulty like progression, and that's really bad. And most Antarctica story levels tend to seem to get harder as they go along. I say most because some levels utterly just don't do that, and it's really weird. Anyway, back to over here. Oh god, where do I begin? What the fuck is this? Look at these coins. They are off-centered to fuck. I don't know what Serrano was thinking here. This isn't a nice geometric pattern. I don't know, yeah, just make it geometric, make it nice and symmetrical, because like this just looks ugly and it looks clumsy. You can argue, oh well, it's nice to have variation. This isn't variation. It's very clear that Serrano was trying to go for a geometric pattern here, and then slightly failed. It's like watching a child colour in something, and then just watching them draw over the lines of what they're trying to colour in. Like, what? I think the leaves jumping onto the springs is kind of cool. It shows that, like enemies and players interact the same with objects. That's good. It teaches the player that enemies can interact with objects. That's good. I don't think it was intentional, but it's good either way. These are actually fine. These spike traps, their delay is fine because the spikes are going to the right and the player also wants to go to the right. So when they have a 2-second delay, in reality what that means is basically it means it has like a 4-second delay. So that's fine. This is all okay. I don't have any objections to this. I would sometimes just appreciate this. Just variation, please, when it comes to your bonus tiles. You really need variation, because look at this, the layout is the same, right? The layout of your things is the same. Like, it's turning the same everywhere, like over here. It's just the same. It's monotonous. It's very boring. And you need some variation with how you give your bonuses. Otherwise it's just not good. Right. This part, I don't think I had many objections to this. Maybe a sign that says go down. Or maybe not, I'm not sure. Maybe make this area symmetrical in some regard. I'd prefer if you had another spring here, just so it's symmetrical, like with this section. If you see, like it's just, if you had 3 springs instead of 2, like it's more centered, and I don't know, it just looks nicer to me. But I don't know. This part is horrific. If you make 2 tile wide hazards when you've got spikes beside you, you're an awful level designer. You genuinely don't know what it means to make a balanced level. What the fuck? Where do I begin? If the player jumps onto here, like at this trajectory, they have to slow down or they'll hit the spike. When they slow down, they lose all their speed, and they can't jump up to this as easily, but they can jump up to this without taking damage. Now, on the way back, they jump to here and they have no speed. They then have to do a 6 tile jump without any starting momentum. 6 tiles. It is, I think it is frame, like, there's only like 2-3 frames where it's possible to do this. 2 or 3 frames without taking damage. Oh my god. I know that's unintentional, because I know Serrano isn't that good at the game. Like, I don't expect most players to consistently pull off 2 to 3 frame tricks. No. So that's obviously unintentional, and that's just lazy. Like, it's just very lazy. It shows that they didn't really test the stage at all, and they just put hazards and they put stuff there, and they just left it. No testing. Right. I think this place is fine. I don't. I normally, when I put ghost flames and flames in levels, I like to give them different radiuses and different speeds. Personally, I think ghost flames should be slow and orbit a larger range. That's just my opinion, though. I think different flames should have different properties, which they do, but I mean they should have different radiuses and different speeds. But they're just default in this. Also, it's not, I don't know, it's not really that visually distinctive where this is orbiting. I think it'd be cooler if it orbited the sign instead of anything else, because then that's kind of more of a visually distinctive centerpiece rather than the ground, but that's just my opinion, maybe. This part is fine, but like, to be honest, it's just a bit boring. There's like enemies, coins, enemies, coins, enemies, coins, enemies, coins. Boring. Like, there's nothing dynamic about this other than the crushers, which aren't even centered anywhere. And to be honest, the crushers, they should have a little indent in the ground where they stomp. This is just my opinion, but it just makes it a bit more visually distinctive, their direct path that they take when crunching a player. Like, because then this way, like, you can kind of see that they're going downwards. Like, obviously we all know ice crushers go downwards, but just giving the player as like much visual clarity as possible is always good. It also just adds nice terrain variation, and it kind of suggests that this guy's been here a while, he's been stomping the ground a while, he's been, you know, doing a lot because the ground's more dented around him, whatever. It just, you know, it just makes like more sense, kind of adds some depth to the stage, I feel. Again, just centering these ice crushers just looks way better. Like that. That just looks way better. Why don't you do that? I don't know. Again, creating indents here just to suggest where they're clamping down on is just better. I can't be bothered to tile it right now. Yeah, there's no auto tiling. Wait, is there? No, there isn't. But you know what I mean. They would come down here. Also remove these enemies. You've got enemies upon enemies upon enemies. It's just too many enemies. Too many enemies. I don't know why there's so many. This dropper is just floating. It's not attached to anything, it's just floating. That looks bad. Move the dropper up so it covers this. That would just look better immediately. There's a guy on a motorbike. Over here, I would make this platform wider, so you can put a spring on it more easily, and then come up here for the secret. Other than that, that's fine. Like, I don't really care for that secret. I think that secret's a bit boring. Could be something a bit better, maybe. But, you know, not every stage has to have a secret, and I feel like a lot of people don't realise that. And when people don't realise that, it's a little bit strange, because then the secrets that they come up with are very unimaginative. Okay, do what you want, Bin Man, whatever. That's funny. Oh my gosh. This is also a visual error. Why is this here? There you go, fixed it, easy. It is very sloppy, this entire design. Why did it just autosave? I don't want it to autosave. I'm just viewing the level. That's another issue with autosave. Anyway, yeah, like, there's a lot of monotonous features in this level. Like, this is, again, like I said, it's just enemies, and there's nothing really happening, no dynamic area, it's just boring. And then there's some enemies and coins. Like, there's nothing really going on. And then it just ends. Like, the level just straight up just ends, and you don't even realise. There's no, like, visualization that it's ending. Like, we don't have, what's it called? I know what these are called. Goalposts. Why don't we have goalposts? Just have some goalposts, like, what the fuck? But that's all the issues with the stage, pretty much. Oh yeah, what the fuck is this? Like, can we talk about this? Why is this here? It doesn't look good, it doesn't look natural. I can't put a spawn point in. Okay, there we go. Like, this just looks unnatural. What would be better, what would be way better, is if it had just some, like, natural kind of, like, terrain to it. Like, I don't know, just something that looked like a little bit better. Like, just some kind of underground grotto thing. This is just a very, very brief idea, right? Obviously I can make this look better without the horrendous shit stains everywhere. But, like, where does he put this? There we go. This would just look way better if, like, it just looked more natural and not completely flat. Because it's just some random fucking rectangle with nothing in it. And it just looks really bad. Like, yeah, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but whatever. Again, not centering enemies really correctly. It just looks better if he's centered like this, or even, can you fuck off, tree? Or even something like this, where he's, like, actually embedded in the ground. I think that's good. Another thing I would put here is a sign telling the player to go up, to use this guy as a lift. Embedding the sign, like, into here, like just having a sign, like, here that says go up with the background around it and everything. That looked nice. And it just, you know, it would just add more visual clarity to the stage, you know, giving the player as much hints as possible as to what's happening is always good. Again, putting an indent. Why is the lorry man still here? Giving a little indent to the level is also nice. Other than that, like, I don't really have much to say. I think my last issue is the background gradient. I think it should be darker, or at least not darker, just, like, somehow less saturated. I don't really know how to make it. Like, I'm not really a colour person. But just maybe, like, something a bit more violet. More purpley than pink. Also, I'm not really sure why the bottom colour is white. I think it should be more blue. Or maybe, like, I don't really know, like I haven't thought about this too much, but, like, I just think it shouldn't be this colour scheme. Like, maybe it should be, like, yellow. Because I think that just looks better. But maybe that's just my opinion. I think the variation between, like, hazards is good. There's no pits in this stage. Like, I honestly think we should maybe have, like, just a direct pit where it's, like, drop down death instead of always just having spike areas. That'd be way better. Like, again, you could make this place just, you can make this area more dynamic by just having pits and then having, like, platforms going up and down, or just something to make it not boring, really, because it's just enemies and there's no thought put in, there's no ingenuity, there's nothing, it's just flaccid and floppy, like, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, that's all I have to say, and this is just the first level, and this took me half an hour to point out everything that's wrong with it. A lot of the issues kind of exist through other stages, so if you look at, I don't know, Ghoul's Lair, like, a lot of the issues just stem, again, like, I don't know, bonus blocks kind of just look the same. I'm not really sure what this sector is supposed to be, but it's just quite boring. Like, look at this. This is the first kind of dynamic introduced, and he only uses it once. Why? Why do you only use it once? Look, enemy, platforms with some coins, and then dynamic, this is good. Mix it up with some enemies, try and, like, add more to it. And then it's just coins, enemies, coins, enemies, coins. And then there's a lantern. This is, like, it's just kind of underdeveloped, nothing's really going on, and it's just a bit boring. This is very long as well. Like, this is actually a really cool structural feature. It'd be nice if he highlighted this more. This kind of chasm, ravine kind of thing. It would just be nicer if he did that, but he didn't. So you don't really see this, because you're all the way down here. And it's just stuff like that. The issues with Ghost Forest is, it's just boring. Now, Daniel made, I think, 2 levels in Ghost Forest, and Daniel's problems are different from Serrano's problems, and I'll probably, I don't know, Daniel doesn't make as many issues, but he definitely makes some really annoying ones, but there's honestly not enough to make a video about it, so I'm not going to bother. Other than that, like, that's all I have to say about these kind of stages, is that you should take the principles and criticisms from what I said on this video and just apply it to all the Ghost Forest levels. Personally, I think these levels are beyond repair. Mainly just because of the structures and ideas behind them. I think they need completely new thinking, completely new terrain, and just, I don't know, new designers. And they need thorough testing as well. Like, it's very clear that this wasn't tested. Look, the same issues again with the 2 tile spikes. Why does this exist? Yeah, anyway. Same issue again with platforms not being centered. It's all of the same issues, really. Really weird secret that honestly doesn't really make much sense. Really strange. And then weird ending where it just doesn't look natural at all. Like with the other level, it was a weird ending and it just didn't look natural. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching.